This is a type of dissolve that was invented by Lothar Meggendorfer, and I think this book is from 1899. It's a type of dissolve. It's very beautiful drawings and quite amusing. As you pull the tab, you can change the picture. Page 2, pull the tab, all changes, push it back, pull the tab, all changes. It's a whole series of sort of disasters, really, humorous disasters of a Victorian nature. That's the last one. So what this was here is I wanted to understand exactly how they're working. So I cut one of the pages open, bit naughty. Here it is, so you can see actually how it works. In a minute I will explain it and make one. So this is one I made ages ago when I was working out how the mechanism actually works. You can see the back of it. I've got some numbers written on it and everything. And then this is one that I made more recently that really annoyed me actually because it wasn't working. So you can see all these orange panels that slide up, they were jamming against the slits, so I ended up trimming them down on the side, and now it does work pretty nicely. This is the grid you'll need to make. So it's made with half a sheet of A4. All the measurements are in centimetres, and the grid is 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, 5, 2. And then when you're going across, it's 4, 8, and this is 4. The 2 is about the height of it. And there are 2 windows. These bits, the one at the top is there's these flaps that come down. They're just extensions that come down that enable all the sliding bits to move smoothly. So that's the purpose of these extra ones. In fact, there are 2 windows that are pretty much 3 centimetres deep and 8 centimetres wide. And then the moving pieces, you have 3 like this. They're 4 centimetres deep, and then there's a 1 centimetre where you have these sloping edges, and then there's 1 centimetre, that's a tab on the bottom that's going to stick onto the pull strip. And the width is 3, 2, 3. And so you need 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. And then there's actually a 4th one which is slightly different. The widths are the same, it's 3, 2, 3, but the height, this is 4.5. There's no angled bit, there's just a tab on the bottom. The windows in the base, these are filled by these pieces. These are 8 wide, and it's 1, 1, 2. And the second one down, this is where there's a tab on each side where it's going to stick onto the base. So you need 2 of those. So I'll start by sticking those on. When you put these in place, it's the long side, the 2 is down. It goes in, and it needs to, the bottom of the window, it needs to overlap it slightly, so don't push it all the way totally flush up. More or less like that. Okay, so I put glue on the tabs. You put it underneath that sticking down bit, not all the way flush up because you want the bottom edge just slightly over the bottom of the window. Now we can turn it round, and so it's more or less repaired. Now there's these ones. These will be sticking onto a pull strip. So I've already scored it, I've already cut it, and now we'll just glue it shut. Right, fold it shut, and when you smooth these things out, do them on a flat surface. If you just do them in the air, they quite often end up just a bit wobbly, really. So that's a nice flat one. And then you'll need a sleeve to help guide it. I didn't mention at the bottom, there is a slit carved here with it's been cut straight across and then a couple of little edges coming up so that it can lift. I think I made that 3 wide and this is 2.5 wide, and so that will ultimately feed through there. Meanwhile, there's this sleeve. It's just slightly wider than the strip, so this doesn't need a whole lot of glue. It just needs to be holding itself shut, really. So that goes there, and that sticks onto the top of this flap on this one. So I have actually put a couple of pencil guidelines on there, so I'll just stick that on while we're at it. So that comes down to the edge, and now the strip should go through there, down and through there. Now the question is how you stick all these other pieces on. I think I should actually just shave a little bit off the top corners of these 4 so that they'll just glide up and down between the windows. Right, this one with the not the angled corners, this is the bottom one, so that will go through there. These others all go like this. I might just have to check my measurements and see if I need to measure off on the pull strip. This is a mechanism that is in this book, but not the more modern book. And yeah, I do actually need to measure, so I'll just do that. It's 6, 3, 3, 2.5, and that last bit is 6. Come down 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2.5, 6, 3, 3, 2.5, and that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, the pull strip is too long, which is fine. So I'll stick the first one on. It's going to be, this is the blank side that's going to be showing. It's going to stick on there. Let's just get this glue going again. Just put it on the tab. And that goes there. It's number 1. This one comes 3 down. That goes there. And the last one two and a half, right, there we are. Now we try and feed it all into the background, so that's good. These two aren't so keen. That's good. That's good, yeah. So now we can just give it a press, make sure all the glue is holding firm before we push it any further. What's holding it up now? Let me try pulling these straight. When I made that other example, this was the point at which I just had a lot of trouble, which made me nearly give up. Right, now let's see. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's just leave it a minute for the glue to go off, and I'll put this through that slit at the bottom. There we are. Now if you look at this one, you'll see the side edges have been covered up with strips, and if you look at Meggendorfer, he's done the same thing. There's strips down the sides that cover up the messy edges where you might have to trim it to make sure it all slides. So let's see if it's moving comfortably now. I haven't put a governor to stop it pulling out too far. So let's just see, once they disappear, that's the point you need it to stop. So I'll put a governor across there. Let's just have a small piece of card that sticks on there and will come up against the slit and stop it moving any further. So that goes there. I actually thought the bottom of that piece should have been doing that. There we have it. Slightly rickety. So if we want, we can get a piece of blue and just cut a couple of pieces to go all the way down the edges there, just to tidy it up and hide the messy part of the mechanism. So you want to be careful here because you don't want the glue going onto the moving parts. It would probably be good actually to put another piece on the back, sticking carefully down the sides here, just to make the whole thing a bit more rigid, so that when you pull it and push it, it just finds it easier to move. You need to do some pulling backwards and forwards just to get it all the rough edges smoothed out, and so it just starts knowing what it's supposed to do and just moving nicely. There we are, Victorian pull strip, Dissolve.